Thanks everyone. My name is Jesus Leonardo Martinez Noto, and today I will be giving my final presentation for the Business and Communications class. First of all, I want to take a moment to ask for your attention, and I also want to thank you for working alongside me in this different kind of semester. But let's not talk about why it was so different because we're already tired of that. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about something that really passionates me and that has somewhat shaped my life, and this is the discipline of running. Well, you know that anyone can run. So running is merely the action of terrestrial locomotion in which animals and humans can move rapidly on foot. It is characterized by one simple stage, which is the mid-air stage, because there is a brief moment while running that both feet are above the ground. Of course, this is in contrast with walking, in which one foot is always in direct contact with the ground. Please allow me to go into the second slide, and here we will find the contents of this presentation, which are the history of running, the running cycle, tips for a good running technique, health effects or benefits of running, common running injuries. Of course, I'll talk a little bit about how to prevent them, some running events, current record holders, and some gadgets that we can use to improve our performance in this discipline. Okay, so let's talk about the history of running. You know, scientists believe that running started at least 4.5 million years ago. Yes, that's a very long time ago. From where our cousin, the Australopithecus, started locomoting in two legs. Then also our running endurance must have developed around that time because there are things, some characteristics in our human body that develop from this activity, like abundant sweat glands or our Achilles tendons. Competitive running also started a very long time ago in ancient civilizations like the Romans, the Greeks, and the Egyptians. And there's in fact evidence of this, like this lithography from ancient Greece that dates from the year 333 BCE. And this two statues made out of bronze, which are from Roman Empire origin, that are now located in Naples, Italy. You know, as I already said, running is a cycle, so it's something that happens over and over again. So I broke it down into four main stages. The first one is the initial contact. This occurs when the foot first strikes the ground. It usually happens from the bottom of our feet all the way up to the toes, which gives us the second stage, which is the mid stance. Most of the shock absorption takes place in this stage. Then the propulsion occurs when our body mass starts moving furthest. So it's when it is at its furthest point, giving us the takeoff, which is when our other leg starts lifting from the floor, giving us that mid-air. And then the gait occurs again. A good running technique is very important, especially when we're going for long runs. So there's a few tweaks that we can do. The first one is an upright posture. This is very important to keep our body upright, but there's a minor tip that we could also use, which is just leaning a bit forward. Then the stride rate, we must find a rate in which we are comfortable with. Some people have straights, super high straights, like 180 steps per minute, but those are professional runners. And then the types of stride, let me tell you about this. There are 3 types of stride. The first one is a neutral stride, in which the foot strikes the floor neutrally, just flat onto the floor. Then supinators land with the right side of their foot, and the pronators with the left side. This is very important for when we're going to choose a pair of shoes, but we can talk that in later slides. Then one thing that some claim to be the most important part of running. This is breathing. Yeah, breathing. When we're running, our muscles require more oxygen than what they usually do. So it is our job to breathe properly and supply them with this oxygen. So we should always try not to breathe only through our mouth, but also through our mouth and nose, but at the same time, so we can successfully supply our muscles. Here's where the fun begins. The benefits of regular running. There are so many that we could talk about this all day, but I just broke it into 4 main benefits that running provides. The first one is in a cardiovascular ambit. You know, when we run, our heart pumps more blood, and then it allows us to keep a good blood pressure level. And the mental function is really, really good. Listen to this, because running boosts our serotonin production. Serotonin is believed by scientists to be the happiness hormone. In fact, there are antidepressants that contain this hormone. So you could say that running is a natural antidepressant. Of course, we like to look good. And when we run, we burn calories and we burn fat, providing us with really good weight control. And now there's one thing that we need a lot this year, and this is immunity. By going out running, breathing fresh air, it boosts our immune system and it can help us fight the flu and, of course, corona. Okay, so let's me talk about some common running injuries, because when we're running, we're prone to developing injuries, we're prone to get hurt. And these are the ones that we may encounter more often. The first one is the patellofemoral syndrome, or as we call it on the street, it's the runner's knee. This occurs when we present pain on the knee or around the kneecap. And it also happens because of the repetitive movement of running. There are some tendons between the kneecap and the knee which can get irritated. Second, we may find the Achilles tendonitis. The Achilles tendons are located in our calf all the way down to our back of our foot, which allows us to make this movement. This may also get irritated by repetitive movement. The iliotibial band syndrome, or as we call it, the IT band, it's the same thing. It's just that it's a tendon that goes from our hips all the way down to our knee, which provides us stability while running or walking. This may also get irritated by repetitive movement. Plantar fasciitis is really not good. It occurs when the back of the plant of our foot gets degenerated by the repetitive shock on the ground. And skin chafing occurs when our skin is in contact with the sweat and our clothing. So let me tell you about a few things that you can do to avoid this from happening to you, because it is scary. The first thing would be to stretch. It is very important to stretch our muscles before going running. It's important to stretch our calves, our quads, and even our upper body. Some people say that it's not important, but it actually is. What we can also do is warming up. Go out for a half-a-mile walk or jog slowly before starting your run, so your muscles start building up that energy supply and that oxygen supply. The third thing is what we also call cross-training or active resting. Just go out with your bike or just swim or walk instead of running, because running is a high-impact sport. So this will help your body to rest a little bit easier. Running events. There are so many running events that we could talk about this all day, of course. But on the baseline, we have a 5K race, which equals 3.11 miles. Then on our second one, we have the 10-kilometer race, which equals 6.21 miles. Half marathon, which is 13.5 miles or 21 kilometers. And then the marathon is 26.21 miles or 42 kilometers. And here's where it gets interesting. There are ultra marathons, which is anything that comes after that 26.1 mile mark. I also wanted to include the triathlon, because running is a part of it. It is comprised of swimming, running, and biking. If you want to know the distances, well, this is a very, very hard race, because it is 8 miles swimming, 42 kilometers running, and 125 miles biking. So yes, you have to train a lot. And then finally, we have those trail races. Some people like to race on the trail, on the mountain, and there's this races all over the place. And some people say it's great. I might try it sometime. Let me tell you a little bit about the La Creme de la Creme. These are the fastest guys on earth. So first we have the best mark on 5 kilometers. And this was achieved by our friend Joshua Cheptegei from Uganda. This happened in the year 2012. Then we have still an unbroken record by Kenenisa Bekele from Ethiopia. And he broke the 10-kilometer record in 26 minutes and 17 seconds. This was on the year 2005 and it's still unbroken. Then we have our friend Geoffrey Kamworor from Kenya, where he broke the 1 hour mark in the 21-kilometer race. And here is the fastest guy anywhere. His name is Eliud Kipchoge, and he broke the 42-kilometer mark in 2 hours and 1 minute. So here's where the controversy comes. Some claim that he broke the 2 hour mark in 2019 in Berlin, but it wasn't in such an official race because it was just an elite runners race, so it was not public. And also, there's still some controversy about the shoes, but I'll tell you about that in a bit. Just let me share, of course, some of my current personal records, which are the 5K in 22 minutes and 35 seconds. I achieved this on the beginning of the summer at the Plano Placers prediction run. And then also, my 10K time is 45 minutes and 36 seconds. I did this back home in Venezuela. I also want to break the 21K and the 42K, but it's still to be determined. I hope to do it sometime. And then some gadgets. You know, running is free. You don't need a lot to run. But there are things that can help us, our experience better. And the first thing would be clothing. We just need some lightweight clothing. You don't need a lot. But of course, you must always keep in mind the weather. So if it's summer, you could wear your shorts. But now that it's getting chilly, you can see my outfit. It's good to keep those areas covered because of the breeze. Then also a fitness tracker. A fitness tracker, some say that it's not that important, but I do believe it is. Because, it lets you keep track of your times, of your distances, and of course, how your heartbeat is working during your workouts. And then finally, shoes. Here's where we could talk about this a lot, because there are so many shoes of so many brands, so many colors, so many technologies. But as I said earlier, you should always find a shoe that fits your stride, either if you're a neutral, supinator, or pronator. So if you're going to go out to buy a pair of shoes, please do your research first. And here's where we're gonna talk about that shoe on Eliud Kipchoge, which is this one. This is the Nike Alphafly Next Percent. The controversy is here because when he broke the 2 hour mark, these shoes were just a prototype, which means that they were not still available to the public. And then what they did to avoid this controversy was that for a record to be official, the shoe must have been in public sales for at least 4 months prior to the race. And then Adidas came out with this bad boy, which is the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro, which you can see is still similar in technology. So they try to avoid this battle of the brands of who has the fastest shoe with those measures. So it's up to you to think if he broke the 2 hour mark or if he did not. Well, finally, we have a smiley face, and I'm really happy for you guys to have listened to me, for giving me your attention. And I just want to ask you for one thing. Please just stay safe out there and see you soon.